the Talk Birdie Semi with former world number 16 Nick O'Hearn and Tour Pro Mark Allen, live from Titleist and FootJoy headquarters. And thanks to our great partners, Titleist, they're the clear number one ball in golf. FootJoy are the number one shoe and glove in golf. Driving a BMW is like hitting a perfect shot. Smooth, controlled and powerful. Ping, they'll help you play your best. The Golf Clearance Outlet beat everyone's prices. And Better, the fastest and easiest betting app in Australia. Now, from Titleist and FootJoy headquarters, it's time for Talk Birdie Semi.
G'day everybody, welcome to the program. This is a feedback podcast, but first...
Did you see this tweet during the week?
No.
This is from a guy called Brad, wolfpacker Brad. You guys mentioned Lou Stagner.
Yeah.
Have a look at his take on the old course. And Lou has said, just because the course is old doesn't make it good. The history is interesting, don't get me wrong, but the old course is a goat track.
Well, Lou, well, I'm not going to say what I should say, but
you can say what you...
He has absolutely no clue what he's talking about. So yeah.
That's right. Well, what he actually says is right. Just because it's old doesn't mean it's good. That's actually right. But in this case, it is very old and very, very good.
Yeah, I think it's the best golf course in the world myself.
It's in everyone's top 10 in the world.
It's funny. There's so many people I've known who have gone there, and if they have one look at it, they go, "Oh, what's all the fuss about?" Yeah. Right? That's their first impression, because aesthetically, it's very flat because you can't really see much. I mean, late in the evening, when the shadows come over, and that looks spectacular, but you need to walk it, you need to play it to see it, to understand the nuance, the genius behind the design. And I'm sure if Lou took the time to do that, I'm sure that's what he'd find.
Yeah, I agree. He
may not have even played it, I don't know.
Lou loves golf, and give Lou a couple more times around the old course and he would learn to love it, I'm sure. It's funny you say that, because a lot of people come to Royal Melbourne, and the first time they see Royal Melbourne, they go, But after they play it, it's amazing how it gets to the top of their list. Yeah. That's right.
Did I hear, I think it was Bobby Jones who first went to St Andrews and hated the place. He hated the place.
Hated it.
And then went back and obviously fell in love with it.
Yeah, that's right.
Might have been because he took about 8 shots to get out of the bunker on 11 or something like that. I don't know. So,
I think Walter Hagen was in there, but I think there's a lot of American players who are so used to everything being green and lush.
Yeah.
They got across and saw the old course for the first time. They just didn't understand it. They didn't understand what was going on. And it's funny, when you play other links golf courses and then you go back and play St Andrews, it makes even more sense.
It does.
It makes it so. It's one of those things where the more you play links golf, the more you appreciate the subtleties at St Andrews. Now, I played it once. That's all I played it. But I've walked around it 100 times. Yeah. And, even watching people play the golf course, even just watching the pros play it all, you learn to appreciate every bump and blind shot and all the rest of it.
And then you walk around the town and the history, obviously, and all that. But the Himalayas putting green, did you ever get on that? It was so cool.
I never bothered. I was too cool for the Himalayas.
Oh, really?
I was too cool for that.
It's called the ladies putting course.
I went from the driving range straight past it to the first tee.
Well, you missed out.
Where I had the butterflies. It's funny, I was telling somebody a story. Ian Baker-Finch played at Kingston Heath on the weekend, and all the members, very excited to see Finchy there. And I was telling somebody the story about Finchy in the 1983 St Andrews Open Championship.
84.
That Seve Ballesteros did the big pump on the last. It's famous for Seve. But what people forget is that Ian Baker-Finch was leading that tournament after 3 rounds. He played with Tom Watson in the last group. And there's a very famous story. So famously, Ian Baker-Finch sucked back.
Spun it. Off the front.
On the first. But they weren't spinning all week.
And do you know why?
Because there was a leak in a tap, one of the sprinklers the night before, and the greenskeeper was so worried about this one wet patch.
I think what happened, I read in the book that I think the grounds staff was watering it, got distracted and had to do something else, but the hose was still running.
Right.
So all of a sudden this patch of grass became a lot softer, And apparently he was praying and praying and praying that no one would hit it there,
That's right.
knowing, and there was one person that did it, and it was Finchy.
It was the last shot of the day.
Yep.
The last shot in of the day hit the wet spot and sucked back
Into the burn.
Into the burn.
Oh, what are the odds?
The odds, it's impossible.
What
It's
do you do?
impossible. But not many people would land it that close to the burn. But Finchy had that much
He was
control with his
dialed in.
wedges. Oh, mate. He was. Anyway, it was a sad ending for Ian Baker-Finch, but we saw one of the great moments in golf with Seve Ballesteros holding that curler on the last.
So the greenkeeper basically gave us the Seve moment.
That's right.
in a way, in a
That's
weird
right.
way.
That
Sorry,
pose-
Finchy, but
That's exactly right. You know, Seve has told the story where he said he willed that putt in. And when you watch it, it didn't go in the front. It went in the back door.
Yeah.
My God, that putt. The more you watch it, the more you wonder how it fell.
Now, you're talking about Ian Baker-Finch. Paul has written in about Ian Baker-Finch.
Oh, wow.
Hey, team, I really enjoy the show. Now that IBF has retired from his PGA commentary duties, do you reckon we could get him to do special comments for the Aussie Summer of Golf tournaments? Now, Nick, this might be difficult for you to comment on. In my opinion, this is Paul's opinion, the commentators that we have here often go over the top and use excessive hyperbole. Although Nick does a superb job at the WA Open, he understands the audience and what they want to hear. We don't need to be told what we can see on the screen in front of us. We would like insights that guys like Ian Baker-Finch and Nick O'Hearn bring. By the way, I was a fan of Marco when you did the on-course commentary. It'd be great to have you back in that role. Thank you, Paul.
Nice of you to say, Paul. He's basically asking for Ian Baker-Finch to replace Nick O'Hearn,
Which is fine,
what
yeah.
he's asking. You know what? I do agree with the hyperbole. Commentators who don't have a long history in golf do tend to go overboard when it's not needed.
Mhm.
And you only get better at that with more commentary. So I'm sure those guys won't get overexcited the more they do the commentary where they shouldn't be overexcited.
there are moments in events where you have to build the
yeah.
drama and you need to get excited, obviously.
Yeah, that's right. But quite often they're not round one when
No,
someone's made a birdie
sure.
on the 13th hole.
Yeah.
There's absolutely no reason to
True.
get excited. It would be, I always say this about a golf tournament, it's like the Melbourne Cup, the horse race. You know, the first round, they're just galloping past the people on, you know, in the grandstands.
Trying to get position.
Trying to get position. Again, around that backstretch, they're just hoping to be in that perfect spot for the weekend. They come around the turn. Everyone calls it moving day in that third round. And that's when the stars start to emerge and you can feel what the tournament's going to be. And then that home straight is when all the excitement starts. And that's really the back nine on Sunday. It's as simple as that. So what our friend Paul is saying is don't get excited when they're getting past the winning post for the first time on the home stretch. We're a million miles away from, finding out who wins the thing.
We had a bonus pod last week where we had an email from a wolfpacker called Martin, who was challenging your view, Mark, that the Players' Championship should be a major.
Yes.
Nick, you agreed with Martin that it shouldn't be a major. Ken has a comment on that. Martin is 100% correct. Mark and Nick would never go against the PGA. Greg Norman is the most courageous and smartest golfer we have. He should be in charge of Australian golf instead of the boring people currently. Then we can make some proper changes. World golf could easily overtake the Yanks, but it takes courage to do that. And please, you need to stop putting the Masters on top of the majors. It is an overinflated invitational that cannot be qualified for. If there's no regional qualification, no tournament can ever be called a major.
Well, there is regional qualification. It's called the top 50 in the world, and that covers pretty much all tournaments all over the place. So he's got that wrong. He's got a number of things wrong in that comment.
He's got a whack, isn't he?
And that's okay. You can have a different appreciation. Look, Nick and I don't want to speak for him. I'm a realist, and unfortunately for the rest of us, the home of golf is in America. I hate saying that. I hate it. I don't want it to be that way. I wish the home of golf was, at St Andrews where it should be. And that's where golf revolved. And we went to America every once in a while, and we made sure we came down to Australia and Japan and South Africa and New Zealand and everywhere else. I wish that was the case. If we blew up golf right now and started again, that's probably the way we do it. But unfortunately, if you want to get anywhere in this game, you better be doing it in America, otherwise you are behind the eight ball.
Yeah, we're going to have the two majors, I think, in the US, the US Open, the Masters, the Open Championship, and then the PGA travels the world. That'd be ideal.
That would be ideal.
Yeah.
So what do you say? We would never go against the PGA? Yeah, well, we just did. And that's what we wish for. But in the real world where we live, unfortunately, it's America.
No one's suggesting everything is perfect with Australian golf, but you have to say, I mean, he's had a crack at the people running golf. The Australian Open is shaping up like the most successful for years and years and years.
And we're almost up to 20 events on the schedule again here, which has taken a long time to get it to that level because, you know, there was a dip and understandably with certain factors going on in the global economy and what they've been able to achieve to have all these events and provide pathways into other tours like, you know, the DP World Tour, for example. It's they're doing well.
Well, the next step for the Australian Open and the Australian PGA is just to be moved to February, March, Elvis's favourite months. And then you watch what happens then, folks, when everyone gets on board with that move. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon because no one listens to me, but I guarantee, I'm looking down the barrel at everybody at the Golf House, please move those tournaments to a friendly spot, not just for our best, but for the world's best, so we get a really strong field.
Righto, guys. Now I'm going to ask you, we're going to read this next question from a listener, but I do not want you to answer it now, but I want you to think about your view, and you can answer this after the turn.
Right.
This comes from Ross. G'day, guys. There was a post last week about Colt Knost getting back his amateur status after being a tour pro for 20 years.
Oh, that's right.
Poor form, if you ask me. I would like to know your thoughts. Hold your thoughts. We'll go to the turn and come back after this.
From Titleist and FootJoy headquarters, this is Talk Birdie Simi. We're here for BMW, luxury and comfort for the 19th hole. Ping will help you play your best. The Golf Clearance Outlet beat everyone's prices. And Betr is the fastest and easiest betting app in Australia. Now, for Titleist, the #1 ball in golf, and FootJoy, the #1 shoe and glove in golf. Here's Nick O'Hearn and Mark Allen.
Okay, Colt Knost.
He's been doing some, he does the colour commentary on the
right.
TV where he's out on the golf course. Really good, by the way. He does an excellent job.
Well, it's a personal choice.
I have a feeling he's done it because there's an event over there called the US Mid-Am.
Oh, okay.
You know the event?
Yeah, I do.
I think the winner gets into the Masters.
That's right.
Right? So there's been a bit of an issue, you know, with certain pros becoming an amateur and things like that. And all of a sudden, hang on, they've got a chance to go to the Masters again. Now, Colt, I'm not sure if he's done it to the fact to highlight that, hang on, he's probably going to be the favourite going into this tournament because he's a proven tour winner.
He's a star.
And that they need to change the rule of either giving them a Masters invite or just making it for amateurs only and pros shouldn't be able to go back to being an amateur, things like that. So I still think, I'm never going to go back to amateur status because I'm very proud of being a PGA member. Me too. Other players, if they didn't do the, you know, join the PGA as a club professional, which is what I did, and they only was a playing pro, well, then if you want to go back to being an amateur, I don't mind that at all. That's up to them.
I agree.
But I'll always be a PGA pro.
I reckon if you were a professional of note, it can mean different things for different people. But if you were a professional of note, I'd be surprised if you went back and got your amateur status. I would be surprised because I'm with you.
We still have a handicap when we play.
That's right.
So,
we can still play, but it's not like you. Like I don't want to go. I don't want to win club championships, and I don't want to win. You know, I don't want to start. I don't want to play for Victoria again. I don't want to play for Australia. You know, like you wouldn't believe this. Last week, Mark Allen won the senior amateur Australian Amateur Championship.
Really?
Yeah, a bloke called Mark Allen.
Oh, there you go.
That's great. I want Mark Allen to do that. I don't want me to do it.
Yeah,
I don't want.
sure.
I've got no interest at all. None whatsoever.
Yeah, but again, going back to Colt, I think he might have been trying to prove a point to the governing bodies. I think, but I don't know. So he's one of those guys that would do something like that just to stir up a bit of
is he
comments. Yeah, which is great.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
Yeah, I know.
All right, I've got a comment here from Matt. G'day, Nick and Mark. Firstly, I want to say your pod is fantastic. I love the stories and the topics. I've got a quick question, and you may be able to help me. I'm a pretty average golfer. I'm off 23, and I only get out when I can, but nowhere near as often as I'd like to, maybe 12, 15 times a year. I want to get some new irons. My current ones are 20 years old, and I reckon something new might help me. Here's the problem. I'm a lefty. Where is it best to get fitted? I don't have a brand bias. I just want to get something that's right for me. And my concern is that the retailers like Drummond, House of Golf, even your mates at Golf Clearance Outlet may look to sell me into stock they have on hand, which is always limited for lefties, rather than best fit. What are your thoughts? Now, I reached out to Sam at Golf Clearance Outlet on this to get his view because I think it's a fair question.
It is. Great question.
It's a really fair question. So here's what Sam said. The way we always handle these type of questions from golfers is this. We determine what the golfer is looking for with their new irons, i.e. distance or accuracy, and what their budget is. We get them in store and we ask them to bring in their existing ones. We fit them up because often they're using equipment that's not quite right for them, so we make sure they're fitted correctly with some new ones. We get them hitting their original clubs and hitting what we recommend. They can directly compare the two and see how it feels comfortable and let the results speak for themselves. But if they're not comfortable or if it's not right, we will never sell them into something that's not appropriate. And if we don't have it, but we can get it, we'll get it in for them.
Yeah, well, that's a good way of doing business. It's a really good way of doing business. And the other great thing about the Golf Clearance Outlet is everyone's got a hitting bay. You know, they've got that ability to actually hit the clubs that are there in stock. But you know, I always say it is nice to see the ball fly. I mean, what the Golf Clearance Outlet has, it's very accurate. I mean, there's the latest and the greatest.
The simulators.
Simulators, okay. But it is always nice to try stuff. And then the best bit is you can shop around. So, you know, you can always do that as well.
Yeah.
But what are these clubs, 20 years old?
Yeah.
The difference
There is a significant difference.
The difference is going to see.
Oh.
Would be amazing. Yeah.
And should we just,
and then to get fitted as well properly.
Should we just put forward that look out for a Talk Birdie to Me mini where, and I think it's on YouTube only, Dan?
Yes, it is.
So it's a situation where Nico, who is the star of the show, and he actually trials the latest and greatest Titleist GT2 driver versus the driver that Tiger used in 1999 versus my old driver, a Persimmon one that was commonly used in 1985. I was still using that in 1992. And then he ripped that one. You smashed it. And then we also got one that Walter Hagen would have used back in the 1920s and 1930s.
I'm trying to get that out of my system.
So the difference between eras, when we had Trackman set up and Simon Davey, Titleist number one fitter, kindly came in and looked at all the numbers for us. But the difference between eras with those clubs was significant.
Yeah,
certainly was.
One era to the next was so significant. So if your clubs are 20 years old, get ready to be happy because pretty much anything made in the 2020s and forward is going to change your golfing life.
And I reckon one of the key things there for Matt as well is Golf Clearance Outlet, and I'm sure the other retailers too, to be fair, they're never going to sell you anything that's not absolutely right because they want you to have a great experience and they want you to go and tell all your friends that they were fantastic.
That is correct.
Yep. So you can go in there with real confidence. Ian has messaged in saying this, "Hello gents, I've just got back from overseas and stumbled across the new Golf Clearance Outlet store in Mornington.
Yeah.
Popped in on the opening day. It is so good to have a local golf store. Best of luck to the team."
Fabulous.
Ian.
No, it's great to hear, Ian, and even better for Sam Colosimo to hear that sort of stuff as well.
Yeah.
That our reach is helping people get in and buy their best gear.
All right, I've got a couple of live comments that we might finish on if you want to, guys.
Sure. Are they aggressive live comments or?
Well, one is when I can find it here. Hang on a second. Just amuse yourself for a second while I find the. I find it. Oh, here we go.
There we go.
Got it. It took me a while, but I got it. This is from David. "Boys, you are too kind about LIV. It has been a failure with terrible ratings and almost no interest. Despite having many of the top players, nobody remembers who wins individual tournaments. It is a graveyard for golf talent. Cam Smith, a case in point. Without the Saudi money, it would fold tomorrow."
Without the Saudi money, it does fold. It folds. You know, don't worry about tomorrow. It would have folded. It would never get off the ground.
No, true.
Without the Saudi money. But I will say this: LIV Adelaide the people I know who have gone to LIV Adelaide, they don't say it's the best golf event they've ever been to. They say it's the greatest sporting event that they have ever been to.
Goodness me! Patrick Reed, you little beauty!
Sending fans into a frenzy, Reed showered in beer cups.
We have liftoff in Adelaide!
It's magnificent just to see everybody just throw it.
So that was the dream for every event to be like Adelaide. It just hasn't panned out that way.
Yeah, and I noticed a lot of the players who are, well, some of the players who are up for, I guess, re-signing have signed on again, so it is continuing on.
So DJ was the
DJ
latest.
was the one, right? And then
It's
next
next
year
year.
when it's going to get interesting.
So we got Brooks,
He's the one everyone's talking about. Bryson, he'll stay on. I mean, I think it sets up perfectly for him. The one thing I haven't heard recently is new signings. There was a bit of a thing the other day I heard because they were playing in Utah last week and Aldrich Potheater pulled out. So they were sort of going, I wonder if he might be someone who might be going, but I don't think so. I think he might have been a bit sick or something like that. And it'd be a bit of a shame because, and again, just from my experiences of watching or listening, you don't really follow those players anymore.
No, I don't
know. It's just a hard one.
I just don't follow him.
Which is a bit of a shame because there's
Eldrick
some great players there.
He shouldn't do that. I mean, he's won everything. Like he won the Amateur Championship. He was the youngest to do it. He was the youngest, basically one of the youngest to win for the first time on the PGA Tour. Everywhere he's gone, he's been the youngest. I mean,
we'll see.
You'd want to get to the majors as quickly as you possibly could, wouldn't you, if you had that length in that game?
He's got an amazing game.
Another one on LIV to finish on. This comes from Scott. Guys, with LIV golfers not having a guarantee their fines, their DP World Tour fines, will be paid in 2026 with the PIF and LIV writing into new contracts that players must play at least 2 Asian Tour International Series events. Is it time to bring back the Australian Masters but relaunch it as part of the International Series? I think most LIV golfers would play it, particularly if it's on the sandbelt. You could also rebadge it as the ANZ Masters and rotate it through New Zealand's world-class courses. An ANZ Masters co-sanctioned on the Asian and Australasian tours would be an incredible boost.
Look, it's okay. I would rather it with a European tour swing.
Yeah,
DP World Tour. If we had
the 3,
like we used to, let's say Perth comes back as well. Then you got 4. New Zealand, we get rid of that rotten Pro-Am that's being played over there at the moment and turn their New Zealand Open into what it should be, which is a world-class event. I think that those things can only happen if we have a true Australasian swing and they're all part of the DP World Tour. So, they finish a few tournaments in the Arab states, and then they come across to Perth. Then they come to Melbourne, and they play the Australian Masters, and it's kind of like a Sandbelt Classic style event, to where they play Kingston Heath, PK or Victoria, and finish up at Royal Melbourne. Something magical like that.
Can only dream.
An Australian Open at Royal Sydney, the new Royal Sydney, that looks so good. I've got to get somebody to review that golf course for us too. We have not done that. So if you've played Royal Sydney and would like to review the course for us, I haven't been up there. You haven't been up there.
I got a few mates who are members, so I'll get them onto it.
We need to review Royal Sydney. So, an Australian Open at Royal Sydney, and then we go up and play the BMW, Australian PGA, wherever the hell they want to play. And then across to New Zealand, wouldn't be unbelievable if TRI or one of those places all of a sudden
you need your dates though, don't you?
So you've got to have those dates where it's a true swing, and we get lots of those players that come down. And unfortunately, we're only worried about our best Australian players coming down in December, and that's nice, but they don't always come down. We put it there for them, and unfortunately, they all don't often come down.
Let's finish on this one here. This is from Paul. Guys, you were talking about hybrids last week. I love my 3 and 4 hybrid. They were a revelation when I restarted golf after not playing for 30 years.
Yeah, good on you.
Perfect. Get the 7 wood as well, by the way.
Yeah,
because
and the golf ball's very different. The one we play today versus the one 30 years ago, Nicholas.
Very much so.
Yeah. You need different equipment these days because of the ball. Fabulous. Good on you guys. Folks, we'll catch you next time.
Talk Birdie to Me with Nick O'Hearn and Mark Allen comes live from Titleist and FootJoy headquarters. And thanks to our fantastic partners. Titleist is the clear #1 ball in golf. FootJoy, the #1 shoe and glove in golf. BMW, luxury and comfort for the 19th hole. Ping, they'll help you play your best. Betr, the fastest and easiest betting app in Australia. And the Golf Clearance Outlet, who beat everyone's prices. Wherever you listen or watch, we'd love you to subscribe and maybe leave a review. Talk Birdie Simi's executive producer is Dan Bradley at Kaizen Media, with sound design by Daryl Misson at loudzebra.com. And now from Titleist and FootJoy headquarters, that's been Talk Birdie Simi.